station that we are switching to this afternoon. We are, of course, live on Facebook as well to talk about a conversation that is a very, very difficult one. 47 minutes after 4 o'clock this afternoon. Joining me on the line on Zoom, I've got Melissa Davids, who is a registered councillor. And we are talking about a very, very difficult topic. One that hit us closer than expected yesterday or about 2 days ago. And I thought, you know what, we need to have this conversation today. We cannot sleep on this because it's a sad one and it's closer to home now. This week, I have seen a report of a young girl, 11 years old, who lives in the US. Now, if you don't know what's happening in the US, there's mass deportation taking place. And what happened was this girl, who's 11 years old, she got bullied because the peers at the school kept on telling her, oh, we're going to call ICE and they're going to deport your family and they're going to deport you and all of these things. And that pushed her into a place of suicide. At the age of 11, she committed suicide because of this bullying. A day or two ago, something very similar, it's closer to home, where a young man from the southern suburbs, Spine Road High School, commits suicide because of this very thing called bullying. Now, one then starts to understand and realize that this is actually more of a global issue than what it is a local issue that we are sitting with. So joining me now is Melissa Davids, and we're going to chat and try our best to unpack this before we get to news happening on top of the hour. Melissa, first things first, good afternoon to you. Thank you for taking the time out and joining me today.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. Good afternoon to all the listeners. It's a privilege to be here and to chat about this.
Now, obviously, Melissa, this one hits close to home for many people, the global issue that we are facing as a society as well. When you heard this story, what were your immediate thoughts of this young man who unfortunately took his life due to bullying, and also just given the space that you work in as a registered counsellor?
So when I saw the story, and even just, I think it was last week, there was another girl that also committed suicide on the Cape Flats as well. And she was 15 and this boy was 14. And I think when this happens, you often find yourself, you ask yourself, where were the parents, where were the educators, like, was there anything that somebody could have done? You go back and you question what happened, because if you see the things that's being spread on social media, the kids look happy, the pictures
Yeah.
that they post on social media. So you don't really, there isn't anything that you can say based off of a mask, that they put up that they're okay because that mask says that they're okay.
Sure.
So immediately you go into panic mode and you think, man, like, so heavy to carry such a heavy heart at the age of 14 and 15. You ask yourself, what are these kids facing?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on a very sensitive part of this, that being teachers, right? And allegedly, this young man went to teachers at the school and reported the bullying, saying that I am being bullied. All of this is happening to me. But again, regarding the allegations, apparently nothing was done in terms of the bullying that this young man was experiencing. Again, going to teachers, people that he entrusted, people that are supposed to look after him, keep him safe, assist him in a very, very difficult time. What can we do more as teachers, as a school, as a governing body? What more can we do to ensure that something like this doesn't happen to another learner at the school?
Definitely, I think just creating awareness, whether it was this boy or another boy, because there's lots of information on social media contradicting each other with
Yeah.
regards to what was the reason, of this event that took place. But the most important thing is bringing awareness, spreading awareness at the schools. I know that a lot of schools on the Cape Flats specifically don't have budgets for counselors and things, but there are institutions, universities that make interns available. There are people, advocates that want to come to the school, and the best thing that I can say is the principal need to open up the school to allow people to come in and have talks to the learners. Obviously, we can't expect the school, the principal himself, or the educators to do it, but let's work in a multidisciplinary team and partner with youth ministries, partner with mosques, partner with churches, partner with people who have a heart for this and that really want to bring the awareness into the schools if you don't have the infrastructure or the resources for it.
Absolutely. I mean, and again, we're not specifically speaking into the particular school where the incident had happened, but we are speaking in general because this is one story of many others, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
and the community has gotten to the point of saying, but our young people are dying, and we are tired of this thing. Right, we are tired of young people dying.
Yeah.
Action must be taken. Now we look at the parent side of things. What advice do you have for parents? Parents, and advice to say parents be more alert and be more involved in the child's life. What advice do you have to parents so that they can see what's going on with their young people in the house?
I think just be intentional, man. Be intentional. That's the one word that I definitely want to leave with parents, caregivers, guardians, whoever has a part to play in a child's life. Be intentional.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have parents working two jobs. You have parents that, single home parents. So you don't feel like you have the time to really, sit down, have a conversation. Be intentional. Take them with for shopping when you're going to buy something at the grocery store. Take them with when you're going to throw petrol in, come with me and have a chat on the way to go throw in petrol,
Mm,
have a chat on the way to the grocery store. Be intentional doing washing together, activities together. We don't need to have money to buy time. That's the
yeah.
thing. You don't need money to buy
I
time.
love that. Absolutely love that. Now, I was also just forced, Melissa, to go into a space of thinking about the bullies themselves. And I mean, when we spoke
Yeah.
on the phone last night, I shared this with you as well, and I said, I threw myself into the position of the bullies as we come to a close, to kind of ask myself the question, well, how would they feel? And let's use this young man as the example. This young man that unfortunately committed suicide. Those that are the perpetrators of bullying this young individual.
Mm.
How would they feel? Like, do some of them feel remorseful today? Do some of them really just have a no care attitude? I mean, that is a valid question. One must think about
Yeah.
that as well.
I think it's different for every person that is bullying, or every child that is a bully, because you get children that bully because they were bullied, so they repeat, that behavior.
Yeah.
Then you get children that's growing up in societal, dysfunctions. For example, there's poverty at home, or there's an abusive parent at home, and so they want to divert the attention from them, and so they kind of put it on these children that they are bullying, or they were told that they're not good enough, that they don't have a purpose, and so there's a ripple effect from that. So definitely I'm sure there's people that feel remorse after, they had a part to
Yeah.
play in it. And then there's also children that have underlying mental health issues
Mm.
with narcissistic behavior, personality disorders, where they're not able to feel that empathy. They're not able to say, you know what, I did wrong. They justify what they've done. Everything is always justified. And that's when they don't feel remorse. And that's adults that sometimes grow up and become corporate bullies in the
Wow.
workplace, even.
Sure. Okay. Just as we come to a close this afternoon, any last thoughts on the topic of suicide amongst teenagers? And I'm just speaking in general, for the general public. Any last words that you have when it comes to this particular topic?
I just want to encourage everybody that is listening to come alongside and be a part of making a difference. Whether you are a youth leader, whether you're a community leader, whether you are a parent, let's break the stigma. Talk about these topics. It's an uncomfortable conversation, but let's become comfortable with uncomfortable conversations. Talk about it, break the stigma, welcome this conversation so that we can find out what's happening with our youth, be there for them, care for them, and let's be kind to each other. You never know what somebody is dealing with.
Wow.
So that is my last thoughts
I
on this
love that.
topic.
Top
Thank
tier.
you.
Melissa, thank you so much. Registered counselor, thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me today. And of course,
Thank you for
um,
having me.
listen, in the coming weeks and months, we'll continuously have conversations like this. I don't think we should stop having these conversations. I think we should
Definitely.
continuously have and create awareness and have these difficult talks as well. But for today, thank you for your time. It's been an absolute delight and pleasure chatting to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was Melissa Davids, registered counselor. News comes up on top of the hour, and in case you missed it, let me give you the riddle for today once again. I can't be bought, but I can be stolen with a glance. I'm worthless to one, but priceless to two. What am I? If you know the answer, you know what to do. Send it to me on 081729 1657.